Hello, Etienne. How are you?
Very good, very good. You?
Pretty good, thank you. I'm really excited to have you on the show.
Awesome. I'm excited to be here too and share my advice and give advice and anything I can to help for sure.
Amazing. And yeah, this is really just a way for us to interview other participants in the industry and pick their brains because, we know certain things, but at the end of the day, guys like yourself that deal a lot with clients that we might not see and different people in the industry, I think we can really learn a lot from. So maybe we can start by you giving a quick introduction on even like let's take it like right back to when you first got into trading. What was that experience like for you? What was like the first thing that got you into this industry, and were you doing something beforehand? How did that look for you?
Yeah, so I began trading in 2013, just as a passion for kind of investing in the trading world. So I wanted to kind of try it, see if I could get see if I could make some money out of it. That's how it began. And of course, I didn't at first. Basically, before that, I had a business. I was doing some kind of web design for other people, for clients in Canada, and that was okay, but not so in line with my passion. So trading was something that I wanted to try and see how I could kind of do with it, and that's kind of how it began. So I began with investing a little bit in stocks, kind of putting some money in some stocks in the stock market, and then I thought, well, this is kind of boring, so I went more into like active trading. So I began with forex, and I began to trade a little bit more, and that's where the learning curve started, basically. And then it was tough after that, but that's how it began.
Very cool. So I think we have a similar past maybe because I was actually in graphic design and photography
Hmm.
back in the day, and then I had a jeans label, believe it or not, where I met my wife. She was one of the first models, which was pretty cool. And yeah, then my cousin was trading, and I saw him driving around in a Mercedes, and I was like, "Hey, what are you doing over there?" And he taught me a few things, and then we kind of fell into the role at Global Prime over time, and I guess the rest is history. So yeah, pretty cool. Maybe you can start off as well, letting us know a little bit about desire to trade and kind of like some of the fundamental methodologies behind what you're trying to do over there.
Yeah, so at some point throughout my training journey, I had to kind of I began to learn everything on my own, and I would like read blogs, watch videos, listen to podcasts, which were really few at the time. But I did my best to learn on my own, and it really didn't work well for me. So the advice I got at some point, the thought I had is I have to surround myself with more traders. So I began to reach out to traders in my own city in Canada, in Montreal. I began to go to different meetups, try to surround myself with people that were doing what I want to be able to do later in life. And that's when I kind of find out the power of being around traders and people that do what you want to do in life.
Mm,
So then the idea is like I had this meetup I would go to meet traders every month, but how can you do this in a bigger scale, and how can you do it more often as well?
yeah.
And the thought I had back then was in 2016 or 15 or 16 was, well, I need to start a podcast and interview traders around the world, kind of ask for their advice, what they do, what makes them successful, and share this to other people at the same time. Because I didn't want to keep it for myself. I think it's like there's no point to do that. So I want to be able
Yes.
to have a platform to share things with people, share what these traders do, and for me to learn at the same time. That's how the podcast began, and then we move on to me getting better at trading and me being able to help other people as well at the same time.
Very cool. And look, I've got a list over here. You've done some amazing interviews over time, including Jack Schwager, who obviously is the author of the Market Wizard series, Jim Rogers, who started a quantum fund with George Soros, Mike Bellafiore, which is a famous prop trader, and Tim Sykes, who turned his bar mitzvah money into a career. So yeah, maybe just also for my personal interest, because getting in touch with different people in the industry is sometimes hit and miss. Sometimes you have to follow up a bit, but you seem to have really gotten on a roll of producing almost daily content and getting your foot in the door with these guys. Maybe you can talk a little bit and give some tips on the people that want to do something similar, how they can get their foot in the door with some of these big industry greats.
Yeah, definitely. So it's definitely numbers, right? That's the first thing. So and now, yeah, you have to reach out to enough people for sure. And the second thing is, yeah, following up, like you said. So I will make it a duty every single week for like at least 2 years or so to reach out to at least
Mm.
five traders a week, five new people that I didn't know about or that I would find out in books or somewhere online. And I would reach out. And then you'll see that if you do that, then probably half of people don't reply or they're not
Yeah.
interested or they don't care. And the other half might be kind of interested a little bit. And then there's a faction of them who you have to follow up with, like the big names like Michael Beaffari and like those kind of people. They are really busy, of course, right?
Mm.
That's normal. So you got to follow up a lot. So some people I would follow up like every week for like 4 or 5 months before they said yes to being on the podcast. So that's just something that I've learned to do over time, and just being able to kind of play with the numbers, play with enough numbers, so you're able to get people that want to come on the show, and then it's like a snowball effect, right? If you reach out to one, or if you connect with one, you connect to someone else, then someone else. So you kind of have this ball forming of more and more people, a bigger network over time.
Very cool. So look, I've done now, this is going to be my third industry kind of chat that I'm having. But I've also interviewed clients in the past, and I'm loving it. Back in the day, and I'm sure you felt the same way because you were talking about it, how you wanted to be around other traders and to learn from them is a big part of it. And for me, getting to interview guys like yourself is awesome because, it makes me still feel like, I'm getting relevant information up to date of what's happening in the market and different things. And from every single one that I've done so far, I've definitely learned something new. I wanted to ask you, I'm talking a lot about this with people that are probably sick of me talking about it, but have you heard of a new app called Clubhouse?
I've not heard of it, no.
Okay, so just to go into it very quick, because I think it might be beneficial for you to have a chat with more traders and to reach a different audience. It's an app where you basically can make a room on trading or any real topic that you want, and you kind of curate who's going to be the speakers. And it's almost like listening to a live podcast, but then the people that are listening can raise their hand and ask you a question, and you can bring them up on stage and have a chat to them. So maybe after this, we can have a chat about that, because I've got a few friends there now, and I'm finding it very interesting to have impromptu conversations just out of nowhere. This is more like, I've got to get in touch with you, and then when do we find a time? With this app, as soon as I go into a room, the people that are following me kind of jump into a room with me, and all of a sudden I've got 20 traders that want to listen to something fresh. So maybe we can look at that after the show.
Yeah,
it's pretty cool.
That sounds nice for sure.
Yeah, amazing. So maybe I'll ask you this one. So what do you these days? Let's take it to trading for a second. You're a trader yourself. Maybe I'll ask you, how long have you been trading, and what do you trade primarily these days, and how would you describe your style of trading?
Yes, I've been trading since 2013, so it's almost 8 years this year, which is insane to think about, but
Nice.
That's what it is. And I trade forex. I swing trade only, so I trade on usually the 1 hour chart, the forward chart, sometimes the daily chart, but not so much. And what I do is I follow about 15 pairs that I've kind of tested, that I know really well, and I just trade these pairs all the time. So I look at different zones in the market and have different setup at these zones, mostly reversals, and that's what I focus on.
Amazing. And I think I'm finding a few similarities between us, actually, because I'm also very similar. I'm 4 hour daily and above. I don't go anywhere below that, unless I'm trying to get like a really focused entry, regardless, it's, with a higher time frame. And, I think a lot of traders have this idea of the freedom of being able to trade wherever they want, but you're someone that's actually living that. So I believe that's a real core purpose of yours, is to be able to, be your own boss and be able to travel the world. And you've actually done that while you're trading. Can you talk a little bit about that approach that you have?
The travel aspect, most travel and trade, that's what motivates me the most to make trading work. So I did a student exchange in Hong Kong in 2015. And when I was there, I was traveling every weekend, because like all the countries in Asia are close to each other. You can go anywhere you want. And I had a lot of free time too, because I was studying. So that was good. And then I had to come back to reality after a while. So I had to go back to Canada to get an internship, work in a company and stuff. And it just felt miserable. The internship I had was like really, really bad. And if I wanted to kind of be able to work in that field, I would have to like maybe do night shift for a few years. And I had a pretty good role. Like I was in university, I had like a pretty good background and everything. But still, the jobs to me were really unappealing. No travel, or at least like 2 weeks of vacation per year, which to me was like not enough at all. So that's what forced me to make trading more serious, take it more seriously, focus on it more, and eventually I've been able to create a structure around me where I'm able to travel, trade at the same time, and be able to do what I want whenever I want. So that's been the part that's pretty fascinating me a lot.
Very nice. And have you been to Australia yet?
Yes, actually 2 years ago. Yeah, I was thinking last year, but it's been COVID, so 2 years ago.
I know, right? It's like a year that just disappeared from our
lives.
lives.
Disappear. Yeah.
And like on the topic of COVID, how are you finding things? Someone that loves to travel the world and trade from anywhere, all of a sudden you might be a bit more limited. How's that been?
Yeah, for sure. So the routine doesn't change. I still trade, and that's still the same. What's really hard is that I work so hard for having freedom to travel and go to different countries, but now I cannot really have freedom, or I have like limited freedom. So it's a bit frustrating, and I'm looking forward to the day where I'll be able to travel and go to different places. For now, we can still travel here in Thailand domestically, so that's been really good. That's been nice. But look forward to definitely do more, go to other countries, meet other traders again. That's gonna be nice for sure. So I'm excited about it.
Yeah. Maybe you can change your Skype background to, sorry, your Zoom background to different locations, and then you'll feel
Yeah.
like all exotic again.
Maybe.
So look, taking it back to the trading side of things, you've been in the market for, you're saying, about 8 years now. You've kind of probably seen in yourself the progression of the access to information that traders have over the last, 8 years or so. What do you think about how the kind of, and we're talking retail traders a lot, right? What's the landscape change like in terms of access to information, do you think, for retail traders?
It's a big change. When I began trading, or actually not when I began, but when I began to research podcasts and listen to podcasts, there was only one out there about trading, or maybe two at most, and now there's like 10 of them or more. So that just shows you the big change that's been in trading and information. Same thing with YouTube. There was a few channels back then that were like interesting. Of course, a few like bad channels and things, but these days it's like maybe 40 times that or 50 times that, which is insane.
Sure.
I think that, yeah, there's a lot, but the more there is like bad quality as well of people who are there to make a quick buck or just try to kind of push whatever they want to push and not really care about people. So yeah, there's more information, not always good for sure, but I think you can find people that you relate to. And yeah, you can definitely learn more now than many years ago. The only problem, of course, for most people is like there's too much out there, too much information. So they're stuck in like overload. They learn something, but then they hear the guy next door say, "Oh, don't do this, it's bad." And then the guy next door says, "Well, do this, it's better." So that can be frustrating for some people.
For sure.
So I think you need to be able to narrow what you follow, narrow the people you follow, the information you get, to be able to get some results and focus on something. I think that's really important.
So whoever's watching this, there's only two people you need to follow, and it's Etienne and myself. So
Awesome.
But I was going to say, what kind of, like, 100%, there's so much information out there. It's like Twitter, Instagram, all these different platforms even that you can get your info from. Is there any tools or resources that you recommend to traders, I guess at different levels, or that you use yourself that you found to be really helpful?
In terms of learning, or tools in terms of like software or whatever?
More tools in terms of getting your research and your information and learning, whether it's learning strategies or learning about how the market works.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah, for sure. One thing is, if you're gonna follow people online, I think don't follow the platform where the stuff is easiest to do. Like, for example, like think about TikTok, right? It's super easy, or Instagram is super easy, which means you're gonna have a lot of like bad advice on it. So the more work is needed to put in the production or doing it, then the more qualified people will be there, I think. So YouTube, that's definitely better, not top. I read a lot of books always, even now I read some books about trading and things.
Any cool books to recommend that you've read recently?
Yeah, I have a big list, but definitely like Trading Zone is a big one. Market Wizards has been also good. All these books also about psychology, not just trading, but psychology, like Psycho-Cybernetics, a book that's about kind of how your self-image impacts your performance. That's really big. So a lot of psychology book really helped me. Trader Minds 101. Yeah, definitely a lot there.
Sounds like you read a lot.
I read a lot, yeah.
Yeah, very cool. And look, you also offer, access to free and paid information out there. And yeah, I guess, how's that going? And can you share your thoughts really on the prop trading side of things?
Yeah, again, prop trading is something that is more popular these days. It's like the new trend, I think, in trading now. So everyone seems to want to get funded. Not everyone, but most people now. So that's just what happens. And again, there's like many platforms now. There used to be like a few, and now it's like a ton. So you got to pick the right one for sure.
Sure.
And yeah, that's been interesting. So yeah, we have people get funded as well. So that's something we try to coach people on. And yeah, definitely. So I prefer to focus on an aspect of kind of not information, because like you said, information is everywhere now. It's like on all these websites everywhere, so you can find it as much as you want. We focus on like having a personal aspect with people, having a personal touch. So we try to coach people, do more calls with them, make sure we are kind of supporting them along the way. And I think that works well. That's what people are looking for. It's like there's too much online and not enough like connections, and actually like expressing like back and forth, like conversation like we have now, which is really cool. So that's what we're focused on, and it seems to work well.
Clubhouse is your answer. Once you experience this platform, it's so cool. It's like, some of the rooms that we joined, people talking about brokers, right? Or like talking about forex, whatever it is. And all of a sudden, you know, myself and Sammy, one of the guys we work with, raise our hands and we're like, hey, we work for a broker. What do you guys got any questions? We're stuck there for 4 or 5 hours with these clients asking a lot of stuff. And it's a great place to, you know, kind of keep your ear to the ground of what retail clients are doing at the moment, because, you know, FTMO and a lot of these like 5%ers, and, you know, prop trading, whatever you want to call it, outfits are being talked about a lot. And it seems like a lot of pickup. So you probably see that from the people that you speak with, but it's also interesting, like, to join a platform and for me to hear it from other people really shows that, you know, this stuff is taking off at the moment. It's definitely a hot topic. So you're originally from Canada, right? And you traveled, I think over here, I've got over 35 different countries.
Yeah, I'm probably around 40, but yeah, whatever, 35, 40, it's been a long time.
Who's counting, right? You lost count. So look, we know you like cooking. What's the best dish that you've ever found on your travels?
That's a tough one. So many different countries, so many different kind of ways of cooking and different dishes. I just cannot answer that. There's a lot of good food around there. I really like the food in overall. Indonesia was really, really good. Thailand is good as well, and Vietnam is really good too. So yeah, there's a lot of different things.
Amazing. Well, if you come to Australia next time, I can make you a barbecue, even though I've never made one in my life, which is a very strange thing for Australians, but I can give it a go, and we can see how we go. So what about this one? So did you ever visit a country that helped you out with your trading somehow, just by seeing how the culture was or an experience that you had there?
With trading, yeah, it's not about the country, but it's about the connection, probably the people that you meet there. Hong Kong for me was really big in terms of, first of all, getting serious about trading, but also, learning from people who are there and like managing big funds or trading. So probably Hong Kong and Montreal are places that I really, really love for trading, because there's big communities there of traders that I know of course. There's other places where there's communities, but that I don't know about. So yeah, these are places that are big. A really good trader in Hong Kong was Ray Barros. I believe it's still there, maybe moving to Australia now, but Ray Barros is really someone that I love learning from. And I met up with him a few times there, so it was really awesome.
I'm just going to take notes. I'm going to look up this guy, Ray Barros, you're saying?
Yeah.
Very cool. Very nice. And what about this? Like, when you choose a country to visit, are you kind of going between like a country that you want to visit, or are you going there because there's a trader that's there that you want to meet?
Usually it's that I want to visit. Then I find out traders if that are there after. So I pick with first what I want to go to and places I want to visit, then pick traders that are there if I can find some, of course.
So yeah, like, I'm going to keep bringing it back to Clubhouse again, but when you start to get people following you and you make friends over there, then I feel like now I've been there for a month, so I haven't even been on the platform for too long. But there's like, if I go to LA now, I've got 10 people easily that I've got to meet because I've become friends with them on there. So yeah, it could like help open up boundaries over there. So how about, you know, different courses cost, you know, different amount of money. You know, some people pay like $5,000 for a course, some people pay free. What do you think is like the sweet spot these days for someone that's really new to trading to be forking out to get an education?
That's really hard to say. We used to have really, really cheap courses, and we want to have like everyone be able to access it, and they were like really cheap. Like we had courses like $20, $30 and stuff. And I think that's good, right? That's really cool. But at least for me, I've never really got a big transformation from a course of $30 that I bought. I needed more than that to be able to transform my life, get a good results. And that's part of it is like the quality of the information and stuff. But the big part is your commitment to it and how much you are serious about it, how much you apply to it. And so I don't really believe in cheap courses now. Everything that I buy for myself is like expensive coaching, big courses and stuff. And that's what I believe in now. So that's what seems to work for most people that I talk to. I think anywhere, but then again, it depends. Like some people have a course that's like based on cheap content or no support at all, and they ask expensive for it. So there's no clear answer for like what price you should look for. Whatever is in your budget and whatever you believe in is what matters.
Yeah. And how do you think traders can avoid falling into like a scam or a pitfall? You know, you see on LinkedIn a lot or on social media platforms, these guys posting MT4 accounts that you don't know if they're demo, or maybe they got 2 accounts, one they're going short, one they're going long, and only showing the good results. What's a good way of like choosing either a course or a mentor, in your opinion, and try and stay away from like the scammy side of things?
Yeah, definitely the one I see the most is like promising some returns, like promising, oh, this percent by this day.
Yeah.
That's just impossible. That's like the market is not made that way. Or that amount of money per week, that's not gonna work. All these things that promise some returns, some capital, it's just all scams. And the other thing is courses that like what I like to do is for me, like when I look for a coach or someone to learn from in trading or anything else, is I look at what they offer, their free content, and if I get results out of it, then I'm ready to pay for their paid content. That makes sense to me. But I want to get results from the free stuff before I pay for something. So people who have like a website with like a buy now button on their homepage with no content, that to me doesn't make sense. So that's how I look at things. It might not work all the time. I've paid sometimes for courses that don't work or that are completely crap, but I just accept it and move on to something else, something better after.
You got to kiss a few frogs sometimes, as they say.
Yeah.
And you interview on your podcast not just traders, but also people that are also maybe the social influencers or content creators. What kind of stuff do you think that and this is for me as well, because I'm really interested in hearing how myself I can grow the audience that we have. Have you ever found like some really good tips from some of these guys, or maybe you have some tips for other people in the audience that are looking to break through and do kind of like what you're doing on the content producing side of things, apart from just call, hit them up as much as you can?
In terms to growing an audience and
creating an audience, getting like engaging content happening. Any tips?
Yeah, well, the first thing is to be authentic. I try to be authentic as much as I can, like give people real value. And just not selling all the time. Too many people, especially on YouTube or social media everywhere, just want to sell, and that to me doesn't make sense at all. So I prefer to add value. First of all, bring people results for free. And if they want to pay for something or for more help, that's totally fine. I'm totally fine with that.
Yeah.
So that's the bigger thing. The other thing is, well, this might not work for everyone, but trying to find content that other people don't talk about, right? So if you go on YouTube, most people talk about how to make like this amount of money by X day, by this day, and that's what everyone does, right? Or like how to like use trend line and moving average. Everyone talks about that, right? So find topics that no one covers because they're either hard or they're either like not interesting for them. And the other thing is to focus on what you know, what you know best, what you prefer to talk about, and that just seems to work for me. So
very cool. Thank you for that. And I'm sure like sometimes maybe you bring someone on that's a trader, and has it ever happened that halfway through an interview you're like, this guy's just full of shit, I got to can this, what's going on over here? Is that ever
happened a few times. Yeah, it happened a few times. Yeah.
And how does that go?
People
you just kind of
who either turn the interview into a sales pitch, or people who seem like they're really like you're 13, they're really good at what they do, but they have no clue what they're doing. Or it happens.
Yeah. And has there ever been like an awkward situation from that, or like reputational damage from someone that you brought on that might not have been?
I don't think so. Well, that I cannot really judge that because I'm like behind on the other side of the equation. But there's some interviews we didn't publish because of that. Some interviews that we didn't want to publish. So there's been a few, but usually we don't publish them because it's just not worth it to publish bad interview for views or whatever.
Maybe you can do like a bloopers reel of the worst that you've seen or something.
But
Very funny.
We do filter guests quite a bit. So we ask a few questions. We go through the content, the website and things. So we do a lot of research first.
And do you have a team behind you, or it's really like you looking after a lot of this stuff?
I began all myself, and now I have a team behind me. So I've got two guys that I work with a lot. One who's my algo coder, he's coding a lot of things. He's also one of my students who went to the whole program I have, and the whole coaching. Now he's really good at it. So he's coding my algos, working on different things on that. And I work with one trader who's a fund manager, who's managing a big capital in China. These two guys help me a lot, and I have a team of like editors and things behind that also help me a lot to do things and
you probably like meet people over the years that you just like interview or meet in the comment section or get to know in direct message, and all of a sudden you guys are kind of working together. Have you seen that?
Exactly. So for example, Michael is a guy that I work with, the fund manager, who actually he commented a while ago on my first Jack Schwager interview. Went to Jack Schwager the first time, and he told me he met Jack Schwager before, a few years before, at an event or something. And we started to chat, let's exchange, and I talked with him. I interviewed him at one point on the podcast, and we kind of become a good friend. I went to visit him one day to his condo in Florida, and we just kind of start to chat and start to work together. So it's been pretty cool. Yeah, happens like
Beautiful.
that way.
Yeah, it's like a nice natural or organic approach. We've kind of like hired people into our team from other brokers, and just like very hit and miss. They kind of want to jump to the next thing a lot, and I don't know, it's just hasn't really worked out. But now we've got a Discord where we hang out with our clients, and inside there we get to know our clients over time. And now we pretty much only hire our clients as support staff, which is pretty cool because they understand the business and the model, and they can just kind of like hit the ground running. So I personally love the organic approach. So
that would actually be my goal for the next people that I hire, for sure. Hiring clients or followers, whatever. Yeah, definitely works better.
So guys, if you're listening and you want to work with Etienne, you've heard it here first. Make sure that you get to know him on the social platforms, and you might even get a job out of it.
Awesome. Let's see.
And if it doesn't work out, then please reach out to us. Maybe we have something for you, but whatever. Had another one that was like coming to mind. You've interviewed like some real industry heavyweights over the years, and sometimes like some of these big guys don't get the most views, and it's like I watch it personally, and some of the ones that I've seen are really amazing interviews, but they haven't really gotten the most views. So what do you think that is about? Like, maybe it's like, how do you choose the right topics to talk about versus maybe the person? I'm really hoping that this interview gets 15 million views, because me and you are very popular people, but we'll have to wait and see if it was a flop or not. But yeah, what do you think?
Yeah, no, you mentioned this. Like sometimes interviews where I'm like mind blown at the end. It's like, wow, that's really good advice. It's like, they get like a few views and that's it. Yeah. And I think there's a few reasons for that. First of all, people like stories of like going from, I don't want to say, but kind of like nothing to successful, like that kind of thing. Like you go from like you're a dentist and you go to successful trader. That kind of stuff. That kind of story is really good. But the other thing is people want to see people who are relatable to them. Like if you see that this guy, this like big trader who's managing millions, that doesn't seem too like attainable. That's like far. Maybe you'll get there one day, but that's relatable to you now. If you're a trader who's learning how to be successful. So I think that's what really matters the most.
For sure. And I guess like, when you've interviewed all these different people, do you have like one interview or something, or maybe a couple that comes to mind that really like stands out, and like discoveries that you found through interviewing someone? Was there like one guy or one thing that someone said you were like, holy crap?
Yeah, there's a lot of those. Randy Howell is a trained psychologist that I really admire, and that he really blew me off in this interview. So I really love it. I worked with him for a while as a coaching client. So he used to coach me quite a bit for the mindset part of trading. And that's someone that I really respect now. So it's been a really good discovery on the podcast.
Very cool. And how about like, how have you found the broker scene kind of develop over the years? And what do you think retail clients these days are looking for in terms of their broker? Do you still think like high leverage is a big thing that they're looking for? Is that something that, you recommend to clients when they're starting out?
Yeah, I think it's kind of like a battle between the retail clients and the brokers. Like everyone here seems to think that the brokers are kind of like scams or not honest or whatever. And I think that's part because a lot of brokers are that way in the industry. Like you see probably these brokers all the time. So that's just the issue there. People want a broker that's like clear cut and simple with them. They actually have them out. For me, I think a broker should be like a partner in trading, someone that you kind of partner with to be able to be successful. And I think that people research that as well. High leverage, for sure. For some people, but I think that if you attract the right clients, then leverage is not really an issue. Like, so it depends who you want to attract, the people who have like less money or more money. And I think leverage can be an issue or not an issue depending on who you target, who you attract, and who trades with you, of course.
Yeah. And are your clients, when you speak to them, asking for something in particular they're looking for in a broker? Is there any kind of like thing that's missing that you think that brokers could be doing better?
Yeah, I've actually done a poll about this a while ago on YouTube, asking people what they look for the most in a broker. And I don't know exactly what I asked for, but there were a few options like high leverage, courses or like help on how to trade. There's a few more things. And what came down the most, the number one thing was like safety and reliability of their capital. So they don't want to lose their capital. They want to have their capital safe. And that's what kind of counted the most for most people, like 69% of people, I think. So that's been interesting.
Yeah, especially when you hear of some of these, big brokers that are blowing up, either from not, managing risk properly or completely misappropriating funds. Yeah, I mean, it's pretty crazy, like some of the stuff that we've seen over the years. I get calls still, every every couple of days from these guys that keep changing their names and trying to get me to deposit money and teach me how to trade. But you just smell scam behind it. And it's sad because there's so many people out there that probably fall into that trap.
For sure.
Yeah. I guess, what we're trying to do on the broker side of things is kind of like what you're talking about, is what can we do to educate clients? Interviews like this are really important, I think, because people can kind of get, we've touched on it before, but people can get an understanding of how other people think versus us just saying what we do. And at the same time, you kind of get to see minds combine and see how you can create something better than what already exists. So yeah, we have a lot of fun with our clients, and I'd love to show you around in there. I don't know if you know much about our mentor rooms.
Not much.
So we've got this thing called mentor rooms where our clients can go and get mentored by other clients, and they kind of get community voted in. So if that's something that you do, I'm not sure, maybe you've spoken to Jonah about it, but we can touch base afterwards if you want. There could be potential for you to, have a mentor room inside there where you get exposed to our clients, and our clients can join you on your journey as well. But maybe it's a
cool.
chat for after.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's pretty cool. So, what do you see the next couple of years for you? You're going to keep doing these interviews. Is there anywhere that you'd like to tell people that you're developing further? Any new products that you're offering? Anything you'd like to pitch to the world right now? This is your time.
Yeah, so the interviews, I had a chat today with my team, and it's getting really hard to find guests to interview on a podcast because we kind of interviewed everyone we want to talk to, and that's been it. And people we reach out to now are less open for it, or like less quality sometimes, which I don't want to really say, but it's been difficult to find guests. So we're finding a way to maybe reinvent the podcast, make it better, make it have it, because the goal is to have an impact on people, change the lives of people, and make sure they are becoming better traders. That's the goal. And we'll do whatever we can to have them get there. So that's my plan. Keep helping people, keep traveling if I can, as soon as COVID finishes.
Yeah.
And keep trading and kind of develop myself and become better.
Very cool. Well, I hope you come to Australia so I can make you that barbecue that I have no idea how to make.
Awesome.
I'm really looking forward to that. But yeah, we'd love to show you around. I'm sure you know your way around Sydney anyway, but yeah, it'd be pretty cool.
Yeah, it's pretty big. It's a really big city, so it's hard to know everything.
Yeah, one of my founders is actually my cousin Alan. He loves fishing. So I don't know if that's something that you're into, but he's got like a little fishing boat. We go out deep sea and yeah, catch some fish if that's something that you're into.
Awesome.
But yeah, look, Etienne, I've really enjoyed this interview. I'm just looking at the time, usually like they go for a bit of an hour or so, but we really smashed through that. So, I like the fast-paced approach, and we got through everything, which is pretty cool. But maybe I'll leave you on this. Is there anything that you'd like to leave the world with on the end of this interview? Anything that you'd like to tell traders that might be listening that could help them out?
Yeah, if you have a goal for trading and you want to be doing it full time, or you want to be doing it where you create the lifestyle you want, you got to keep at it for sure. For me, it's been all about kind of surrounding myself with the right people who do what I want to do. And you don't have to pay for a program necessarily. You can do it for free if you want. I've done it like this for free for the first few years. I was just begin to talk with traders and stuff. You can do that. That matters a lot because people you're around with impacts your thoughts and what you think about, your mindset, and eventually your results. So that you hang out with traders and start to build your own network.
Amazing. So look, I think the key takeaways from this call for myself is I'm going to get you on Clubhouse, and we're going to go and talk to some traders. I just want you to see what it's about. It might not be for you, but I think you'll enjoy it for some reason. But otherwise, if you ever wanted to interview myself or anyone else in the company, I know you've already gone through Greg, but there's some smart people in here. I'm not going to call myself smart, but some other guys in the company. So maybe we can touch a base if there's anyone that you want to chat with on the broker side of things. But yeah, apart from that, unless there's anything else, thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it. And guys, you can find Etienne on Desire to Trade. We'll put some links under the video. And he's a real straight shooter from what we've seen and gotten to know him over the years. So definitely check him out. He looks like he has your best interests at heart. And yeah, looking forward to hearing some more from you over the coming months. And let's be in touch. Thank you so much, Etienne.
Cool, my pleasure. It's been awesome. I really like it.
Cheers. All right, I'm gonna stop recording now, but we can continue chatting for a second.
Sure. Cool.